The 2026 World Cup is in the books, and if you like Spain, well, that's a really good thing for you tonight, I'm sure. I don't know. Doug may like all the teams. We'll ask him in a moment. We're talking wide receivers tonight on NAIA football, college football this week, and talking about some returnees that may have an impact not only for their team, but also for the entirety of the NAIA. We'll see how that works. And did you know that it is National Ice Cream Day? And I want to find out, what did you do to celebrate National Ice Cream Day? All that and more here on College Football This Week. I'm Joey McWilliams along with Doug Gann from 446 Sports. Doug, man, you're always rocking, and it's a great night tonight to talk about college football.
It is. I think any night's a great night, but we get closer and closer to that August 27th kickoff, and I literally mean kickoff, and I'm pumped that other football is over with and we don't have to worry about that anymore. But we'll get into that in just a bit. But, man, every day is a great day, Joey.
Shout out to Dave, who has a vested interest in tonight's show, I think.
Yes.
Also has a vested interest in Morningside. That's a game I know we'll talk about a little bit later on, that first game of the season. Doug, it is 39 days until Week 0 Thursday night. There is a true Week 0 this year. That's not always the case, but this year there is one, and we are now 39 days from that Thursday night. Hey, by the way, if you're watching us live, please let us know in the comments section, as we have somebody else. Michael, good to see you come up in the chat tonight. Longtime member of the community. Michael, hello from South Florida. Shout out to you, man. Thank you for being on with us tonight. Let us know from where you're watching and who you might be cheering for this season. All right, Doug, I'm going to start off the show with a correction, because you know what? If I mess up, I have to own it. Do that here at the house. I talk to Mrs. Midwest Sportsnet, and if it's my fault, I own it. And I will say probably sometimes if it's her fault, I own it. Did I say that out loud? Probably should move on. Correction from last week. I was talking about Mount Mercy, who has a team this year, and they are, in fact, the Mustangs. Doug, I was doing a whole lot of graphics Sunday afternoon, and I was doing a Mount Mercy graphic and a Mount Marty graphic, and I was thinking about Mount Marty. They are the Lancers. Mount Mercy is the Mustangs. So Coach Daniels getting ready to get his team playing in the Hart Conference this year.
Just a little bit of cleaning things up. And to add to something that you talked about, it being National Ice Cream Day, it is also National Daiquiri Day. So it's a lot of national days, but I just wanted to.
You know what? All right. To clarify, by the way, shout out to Matt. Matt, thanks for being a part of the show tonight. And look, if you haven't celebrated yet, you can. Matt's going to have a big bowl, so you got to do that. Here's how I celebrated today, Doug. I took two of the grandkids. We had three of them today. The 1-year-old was still sleeping, left him with Mrs. Midwest Sportsnet, took the other two to Brahms. If you don't have a Brahms where you live, I really feel bad for you, Brahms. I've grown up with it. Yeah, it's an Oklahoma thing, but great ice cream. So we celebrated that way. And I just want to point out, Doug, I'm not celebrating National Daiquiri Day with the grandkids. Just
no. I get
in case you were wondering.
But you got to remember, Louisiana is a state that has drive-through daiquiri stores. You can just pull right through, and nothing says Louisiana like driving through and getting your daiquiri on National Daiquiri Day.
That is so true. Hello from Kansas, Enoch 3700, and by the way, he does say Wildcats in there. Shout out to Baker.
Is he an LPU guy? Is that what it is?
I think he's cheering for the other Wildcats there, Doug. Right. Can't wait to see them. Can't wait for them to strap them up this season. So shout out Enoch 3700. Thanks for watching tonight. Hey, Doug, let's see. Let's get to some. This is some news, and I like this news. And then we'll get into the receivers, and then we'll talk about some games that are coming up. So anytime I say it's going to be a short show, Doug knows it's going to be long after that. So I'm not even going to say anything tonight, Doug. Just blow past the last 7 seconds, all right?
Got it.
Madonna, the Crusaders. Last year, I said they're going to win a game on the field. And this is a team that had won one game in its program history.
Right.
And that was by forfeit. So I like Coach Kaminsky. I do. I like what they're doing there. I like a lot of that. Really predicted they would win a game last year. They did. They did win that first game on the field. Shout out to them. They beat a Division III opponent too, no less. So that's pretty cool. Madonna's getting a new location. They have been playing, Doug, at Livonia Stevenson High School, which is a nice place, good field. It looks to me like a great facility from afar. I'm looking at it from Oklahoma online. Looks like a good field. Their new home is the Hawk, which is in Farmington Hills, Michigan. It is this facility is about 14 miles from the Madonna campus. And it's a great facility, Doug. It's one of those things, they took an old high school facility and the community, which is about 80,000 strong, it's right there, that greater area in Michigan. It's about 80,000 strong. They have, they've renovated an old high school facility, and it's got like football fields, soccer fields, all these fields, golf course, tracks. I mean, it's the whole 9 yards. But the field itself is going to be where the Crusaders are going to start playing in 2026. And Doug, it's nice, and they can call it their own too, because they're not sharing it. You know, right. Friday night to Saturday night, it's going to be their own place. Looks to me like the home bleachers have a little bit more space too. The visitor bleachers have less space, but man, I think that's great for them.
It's exciting to be able to get, you know, everybody likes when that new car purchase, the new clothes that come home, but you're on a new stadium like that. It's just got a different feel. And I think it's going to give them a sense of, hey, it's a new time for us as well. And give them a lot more confidence to play with. So looking for big things from them again.
I think so too. And I think that Madonna is a place where they're going to spend some money too. It looks like that they are investing into their program. By the way, in case you didn't know, Madonna softball national champions in 2025 in softball. And you know, Doug, what do they say about a rising tide? All ships benefit.
Right. And that was a difficult division for them too, because you had some powerhouses in there. Olu was out there, but I mean they really, that was a tough bracket to get through. So congratulations to Madonna. But you're right, the more interest that gets in a program, well, the more interest it gets in a program. So.
The circular logic, but it does work there.
Yep,
we'll go ahead and take it. And I'll say this. Here it is, July 19th, 2026. I'm going on record, going all the way out on the limb on this one, Doug. I say Madonna wins multiple games in 2026.
All
so
right.
I'm going to go ahead and say it. I know we can preview them a little bit more, but I wanted to say it and get it out there before, maybe before somebody else says it. I don't know if anyone else is picking that or not. I think they're going to win multiple games this year.
It's important to get it locked down on July 19th because a lot of programs start their fall camps on July 20th, which is tomorrow. So you're getting in there in the preseason. And fall camp, I have to use that in air quotes, and I hate air quotes as much as I hate a lot of things. But
you and me both.
But it's there. Fall camp is miserable in Louisiana because it's going to be 100 degrees all week long up here, and so they call it fall camp. It's still summertime, but it gives these kids a chance to come get in. They'll get checked in. They'll do a lot of things, and man, I'll spend a lot of the week on campus over there with the Wildcats.
All right, that's cool. By the way, you're exactly right. We're in the part of the country. We had a just pop-up thunderstorm here in southeastern Oklahoma about 30 minutes before airtime. And other than that, which those are surprises, and we've just praised God for them every time they come around because the foreseeable forecast is hot, and really hot.
Yep.
With some humidity.
The only bad thing about those storms that pop up, it's like a sauna afterwards when it gets out of there. It's a sauna. It's
kind of one of those things I've gotten in the habit of saying it's not the heat, it's the stupidity. And so I think it just feels stupidly hot. When you get in that sauna. Hey, Doug, let's talk some wide receivers now.
Let's talk football, yes.
I know. And Tool Envy, if he is watching right now, is annoyed that we haven't gotten to defensive players yet, which we will. We will. But tonight, receivers, and there are a lot of them. And, Doug, there are a couple that we had, well, 2 or 3 we both had on our lists. And I think it's not that the lists are shorter. It's that... Well, I think you and I were talking about before we went on the air. There's still some uncertainty at quarterback in some places, and I'm going to drop a couple of receivers where, they're going to be looking at a new quarterback this year, but you can't get past these receivers and how good they're going to be no matter who's back there slinging that around. And I'm going to start with honoring our boy Dave and talk about Drew Sellen, and I know he's on both of our lists. Drew Sellen from Morningside, this guy is going to have an impact for the Mustangs this year, and everyone in the NAIA is going to not only know his name, they're going to remember it because he's putting himself up there in a position in the pantheon of Morningside receivers in the last 25 to 30 years. And Doug, there are some huge names in that list.
There are. And what I like about Drew is that he has just an opportunity to go out there and own it every time that he's on the field. He looks for the ball. He looks to put up big numbers. And they look for Drew when it's time to get in the end zone, too. What was it, up near 20 touchdowns, 17, 18 touchdowns that he had this season?
18 touchdowns.
Yeah, 18. And so just go up there. And they used to talk about Chris Carter. All he does is catch touchdown passes. But Drew has a staggering rate of touchdowns per catches of about one in, about 4? And that's just explosive.
Yeah, it is just below that number right there. Little bit less,
it's
the number.
Yeah,
it's a 1 to 4 ratio. It's like 4.1, 4.2, something like that.
Yep.
77 catches on the year, 1,360 receiving yards on the year. There was a game early in the season which he had 18 catches in the game. And there are two things about that, Doug. I mean, it's early on in the season, but once you start doing things like that, I mean, defensive staffs see those numbers, they get the film, and I mean, you're a target then. You have whoever's going to be the lockdown DB is going to be on Drew, I would think, all season long. So he's not going to be sneaking up on anyone, but he has good hands, and that's one of the things that I've noticed in watching them, in the live streams, getting to watch Morningside play. He has good hands. He can bring the ball in. And he does find ways to get open, too. He's a little bit deceptive, gets a way to get open, gets past some of those guys. So I say he's going to have another great year.
Oh, there's no doubt in it, too. And I don't know Drew personally and hope to get to meet him when we go up there that week, certainly. But you talked about the lockdown corner wanting to be on the guy. I think a player like Drew welcomes that. And he seeks out, he says, look, give me your best guy and let's go to work. And it's that kind of a mindset that a receiver has to have. And we talk about it all the time. There are people that play wide receiver. There are people that play quarterback. And then there are quarterbacks and wide receivers. And Drew Selland is a wide receiver, and he plays it like he owns it.
Yeah. By the way, I agree with you. And I know Doug's already locked in. He's even shown me his, his trip info.
That's right.
I am not locked in yet, Doug, but I'm trying really hard. I just want you to know. It's
come on,
get there for that trip. So it's going to be a fun one. August 29th up in Sioux City, Iowa. So shout out to Drew and to Dave, by the way. I think it's going to be another great season. Now, here's the thing on this, Doug, which we could, we mentioned from the outset. It's going to be a new look at quarterback. Chevalier's gone. And so there are a number of players in looking to, get Coach Ryan's attention and see who's going to step in up there. I want to remind you, Cash Parker is still in that list. Parker has starting experience for the Mustangs. Chevalier stepped in near the end of 24. He was someone who had transferred in, was actually at a school that disbanded football. And then he finds his way over to Morningside. That was a steal, by the way, for Coach Ryan and the Mustangs to get him there. So he steps in near the end of the season, then really just takes over last year. Cash Parker, props to him, stays there around. So he's somebody, at least he's a known quantity. I'm not going to say he's going to step up and take the job, Doug. I'm just saying he's a known quantity. Right. And when Coach Ryan was alternating a couple of quarterbacks, he was the passing quarterback. So he was somebody who, he could get the ball. He could find Drew, and so that's there. So, all right. Well, of course, shout out to Dave. Hey.
Yeah, definitely. Look, one thing you talked about on there with the new quarterback coming in, a lot of times that success is through chemistry and continuity. And the question will be, are they able to get some bond formed? I know they work out over the summer. I know they've been through it before. But can that chemistry get up and going, especially with a tremendously huge Week 0 matchup?
Oh, my goodness, yes. And even, by the way, to send a shout back to last week, we were talking about Max Huff and that he could have a very good season this year. I think that the coverage on a receiver like Selland opens things up for a solid running back and vice versa as well. But I think you could be looking at those from both those seasons. All right, let's see here really quickly. Michael's giving a shout-out of course, to the Seahawks, the Kaiser Seahawks, although, here at least on the Midwest Sportsnet side of it, we drop a Seattle reference every now and again.
Charles is in the house. Way to go, Charles.
Yeah. There was a mention of a new backdrop for someone that's talking on the left side. Oh, my goodness. All right. You know what?
Moving right along.
Yeah. Okay, I'll tell you what, Charles. Stick around. I'll address that at the end. There are plans. I will address that at the end. So thanks for bringing that out. Before we go on, we don't have a Baker receiver in this one, Doug. But how do you feel about Baker University? Well, we'll talk a little bit more about them later on the show, but.
Yeah, we have talked about it, and I expect a good season out of them again. I mean, that's we talked about it a little bit in the last couple of weeks too.
We did.
I think the ceiling's high on them.
Yeah, what we talked about, and Bill Will, Z7D. I hope I got all of them right. Z7Z. Bill Will. I think one of the things we mentioned a couple weeks ago, we were high on Sam Hegeman at quarterback.
That's correct,
and we know he's coming back for Coach Regalado. So that's where we are on that one right there.
Look,
all right, Doug.
Folks need to never underestimate the power of a returning quarterback. That just makes all the difference because they come up, they get the speed. I mean, Grandview had a pretty good one that returned a couple of times, and look what that accomplished. But keep an eye out, and that's where some teams may surprise you. And so, yeah, we look for Baker to thrive because of that.
I want to go back to that statement in just a moment too, Doug. I have some thoughts on that one, but let's hear from you really quickly. Oh man, you know what? Got to drop my Drew Selland banner.
There he goes. All right, so you can't have a list of receivers if you don't have our guy Levi Torgerson on there. Was able to come back and play this year. Just Mr. Electric when he's out there. I know you spoke about him all year long last year, but Levi and Montana Tech are going to have another great season, of course. But anytime you get somebody that's consistently over 1,000 yards receiving, first team All-American, of course.
I was concerned at one point, Doug, that I thought that people would be thinking that Montana Tech and Morningside were subsidizing the program because I talked about the Levi and so much. But you just had to. I mean, you really did have to. Torgerson, 103 catches, 1,370 yards, just a few more receiving yards than what Selland had. 14 receiving touchdowns. However, he had a punt return for a touchdown in the season opener. He had a kickoff return for a touchdown in the season opener. Oh, and you know what? They let him throw the ball some too, Doug. 5 for 6 passing, 102 yards passing. 4 of his 5 passes that were completed for touchdowns.
How about that? So accounted for touchdowns 4 different ways.
If we
can get him to play a little DB and maybe get a pick out of it and get the Fab 5 going.
See, well, you could still get a rushing touchdown. I mean,
that is correct. That is correct.
You could find a way. It's not going to be a touchdown, but you can find a way to get him in on special teams and see if we can get 2 points out of him that way. But, yeah, you're right. The other ways, all I can think of now are defensive scores. So I don't know that Coach Sampson wants to, put him on the other side, try to go 2 ways there.
He is a nightmare to game plan for. You just have to know where he's at every single time. And your lockdown corner's not going to get him. You better get some help. You better get somebody else on him.
Yeah. All right, Doug, I'm going to drop 2 at once here. Okay. I'll go next, and I'm going to talk about Concordia. All right. The Bulldogs coming off another good season, 8-3 last year. On the outside looking in when it came to playoff spots, but there wasn't much room. They were one of those teams. I would still have Dakota State up there. I would still have a Georgetown team up there. But I would have Concordia pretty close. If you're looking at teams on the outside looking in, I think Concordia has their number up there, 8-3 in a very tough GPAC conference. Johnny Pels and Adam Van Cleve, both of them. Johnny Pels and Adam Van Cleve. So let me drop that banner up there.
That's interesting. So you've got 2 from one team out of 96 teams. You've picked up 2 off of one team. All right.
Well, here's the thing on that, Doug. We're talking about returning quarterbacks. Okay, so there are some places. I mean, I I look at take Graceland, for instance, okay? We know C.J. Brooks is coming back. We know he can sling the ball. We're excited about what he's going to do for Graceland this year. I mean, they lose Gerald Monroe, and Monroe's stock kind of fell a little bit in the last couple of years. He was by far, and I mean by far, the best receiver in the NAIA his sophomore season. I think if he could have found a way to go out then, the NFL might have looked at him a little bit more closely then. But he's playing in NAIA ball. His stock fell away, but he's not there anymore. You look at Aaron Bullock, who had led the way for them last year for Graceland. He's not there anymore. So I don't know who's coming up.
Right.
So to your point about there, I have two there. They're both coming up. Pell's had a great season. Pell's last year number 31 catches, 9 receiving touchdowns, 519 yards. Adam Van Cleve, who was really, you want to talk about a multifaceted receiver, had 63 receptions, 726 receiving yards, 6 receiving touchdowns. Oh, by the way, he carried the ball 90 times too and got 4 rushing touchdowns. Van Cleve is coming back as a fifth-year player, Doug. That's where I was a little cautious. I was going to go with Pels right off the bat. But I think since both of them are coming back, and you know what? There's another fifth-year player coming back as well, and that's Gideon Stark at the quarterback position. So I think that's factors
good combination.
There's a good combination there. And I think, and again, I thought Stark had a decent year last year. I thought there was room for improvement. Really did. I felt like that there was more that Stark could do, and I think he's going to get a chance to do that.
Well, that should be exciting to watch it anytime. And we talked about it just a segment ago. When you get a quarterback that's returning, but a fifth-year senior that's coming back, and you've got two guys that can perform like Van Cleve and Pels can, yeah, that's and look, in my defense, it's tough to look over all of these teams and come up with our list of 5 or 6, because there are guys that could have been on the list. Well, they're at other schools now, or one signed with the NFL. Mm-hmm. So it's just, there's a lot there. Look, your quickest way to D1 or your quickest way out seems to have been at the wide receiver position. There are a lot of great wide receivers in the NAIA football.
They really are. Oh, by the way, go back, since you mentioned that, going back to Aaron Bullock from Graceland, the reason he's not at Graceland this year is because he's going to play for D1 Murray State.
How about that?
So, he's made that move just like what you're talking about. So, but I'm excited about these that are there. Leo, shout out to Leo. He's in Minnesota today.
He's probably not going to have 100-degree days like we are.
I hope not.
He's probably
if you're getting that in, oh my goodness.
Right.
All right. Well, shout out Leo. Thanks for being on. And let's get one more. Clarence fired up for Southwestern. All right. The Mound Builders from Winfield, Kansas. We are going to mention Southwestern a little bit later on the show. So keep that in mind. And I think, I'm trying to, Jamie in at quarterback. I lost his last name for just a little bit. I think they're going to do well. And we do get, we do get Coach Griffin on the show. Maybe not this show. We're going to have him on the preview here in a little while. So, but anyway, I'm trying to remember. Oh, Jamie. Sorry, Clarence, if you can give me his last name. I blanked for just a moment, but I think that they are going to do very, very well. Leo, Smokey from Forest Fire in Boundary. Wow. Jamie Odom. There we go. Thank you. Thank you, Clarence. I knew it was right there on the tip of my tongue. I knew it was a short name. Jamie Odom. He is going to keep Southwestern in really, really good shape for another year, and I think that's something cool. So I'm excited about what Southwestern is going to do as well. All right, Doug, let's go back your way again. Who do you have?
Get back on my list, and you and I, we don't often compare our list to talk about their names that are on both of them, and their names that you go, that's right, and their names that I go, that's right. Here's one that the country is going to know. The country does know well. Put up the most yards in NAIA receiving last year. Eli Norris out of Montana Western is back to do it again. 130-plus yards a game, 13 times into the end zone. Nearly 100 receptions on the season, and that's incredible.
If you haven't seen it on Midwest Sportsnet, I had a chance to visit with Ryan Norris, who is the head coach at Montana Western, and yes, Eli is his son coming back for his final season. And Doug, he's already the all-time leader at Montana Western in receptions and receiving yards. So he's just building his own legacy, continuing his own legacy right there. What Montana Western wants to do this year is just make it back to the playoffs. They were 7-3 last year, and one of the things Coach Norse mentioned is, look, we've 7-3 is not good enough anymore.
Right.
That's and
correct.
They put themselves in that position where a 7-3 season. There are a lot of programs that would be really happy with that. They're not. They want to take it a step farther. Here's the issue there. Whereas Norse is there, Seth Shook is coming back. He's another great receiver, by the way, for the Bulldogs.
Right.
They're going to have a new signal caller, and there are a ton of kids there. I mean, Coach Norse said there are a lot of them that are going to be looked at this year, and he's hoping he has someone by week 1. But still, there are going to be a lot of them coming into camp. And I'll tell you what, let me go ahead and make my statement now. I said I want to go back to one of those statements.
Yes.
Here's one, and I think Montana Western could typify this as much as any. Returning production I think is very good, but I think sometimes, Doug, it can be a misleading stat. In that, if you didn't have it, it didn't necessarily mean you're going to go down. Because
That's correct.
Montana Western, I don't know who's going to be quarterback. I know who was quarterback there last year. Michael Palandri was quarterback there last year, and he was there for 2 or 3 years. And, I mean, he was stellar, but he came in behind John Jund, and Jund was putting up numbers left and right for the Bulldogs. And you're like, well, John Jund's gone. I mean, who's going to step in? Oh, well, the Palandri kid, we hope he does all right. All right? Yeah. I mean, he lit it up. By the way, he lit it up. And so the returning production, the year that Palandri came in, I mean, it was a loss from Jund to get Palandri there, but obviously he did what he needed to be done. I'm wondering, are they going to have another quarterback step up? I think the same thing at Dort. You have Colton Cruz there, who, by the way, didn't leave, and I mean, he and Strickfaden were playing well. Strickfaden steps in. He was not part of the production the year before, but man, when he came in, when Cruz went down, he was fantastic. And I think sometimes the returning production number can be a little bit misleading, but I'm not saying it doesn't factor in at all, Doug. I didn't want to downplay what you said, but I think there are times we get the new quarterback in, it can make a difference. By the way, one other thing too, Strickfaden, I know there's only one D. It looks like it should be said Strickfaden, but it is Faden, just in case anyone's wondering. Just if you're following at home.
That's a good guy. You make sure. Look, there's things you can mess up. Pronunciations of names is not one of them. That's one of the things. If you're on air calling, here's last thing that I like about Eli. Before we move on in the list, is that he was voted team captain of his group, and that just tells you what kind of person he is outside the huddle, much less inside the huddle and on the field, and that makes a lot of difference because he is a ball player, and that's why I like Eli so much.
Agree entirely. Absolutely agree entirely. And okay, here's one more from my end, which, by the way, I definitely, Eli, I agree with all the way across the board. How about Titan Osborne, Benedictine?
Yeah.
Shout out to Leo on this one. I think he's going to have a good year. Now, here's the thing for Titan. He was behind. I thought he had a great season last year. 38 catches, had 811 receiving yards. So, I mean, he's picking up the yardage when Dooley got him the ball. And Jackson Dooley had a fantastic year, a record-setting year at Benedictine last year. He's gone. Then you lose on the ground game, Xavier Ugorgi, the other running back, Witherspoon. You lose the other Witherspoon. So Witherspoon, Ugorgi are going to be gone. Jackson Dooley's gone. Tanner Zimmerman, who wound up being an All-American and got more attention than what Osborne did last year, he's gone. So Titan Osborne really is I think he is the stability returning for the Ravens on offense last year, because you lose a lot of production from 2025, another NAIA semifinal year. And so I think he's going to be the one that can make some noise this year. So I'm going with Titan Osborne as a great returning receiver.
There you go. Well, I'm going to add one that's returning as well. I've got a couple left on my list, and this one out of the College of Idaho. And if I mispronounce the name, here's an opportunity for everybody to get on me in this one, because we just talked about make sure you get the name right. Travis Marrero, I guess is what it is. Marrero had about 50 catches last year for the Yotes, and is a big part of the offense because he can do it receiving and he can do it in the ground game as well. And so anytime you get somebody that comes comes in and is able to do multiple things. Had 725 yards receiving last year and 50 catches. So it's somebody in an offense that's proven, and he's a dual threat. So it gives you an opportunity to have a big season. May not be as big a name as a lot of folks out there, but I like Travis a lot.
Okay. I agree with you there. And we know what the Yotes can do, obviously.
Yes.
And by the way, another NAIA semifinalist from 2025. Man,
that's right.
There's some,
11-2, I think they were last year. That's a pretty good year.
Doug, I don't know. We may have to talk about this when we do the forum in August, and we bring in some other guys here. And shout out to Corey, James, Vince, who are likely to be in the forum with us again this year. I mean,
Vince is a handful. You know,
he's great. He's absolutely great. I think one of the questions would be the 4 semifinalists from last year's NAIA playoffs, the football championship series. You know, which ones are going to come back? Because I think you could make a case. It is even more wide open this year, and I think there are a lot of teams that were, you know, quarterfinalists like a Friends, quarterfinalists like a Montana Tech, that were just on the outside looking in. Their only loss of the season was in the quarterfinals.
That's right.
I think it's going to be really hard to get into that semis.
Look, what a great week it's going to be out in Fort Worth and Crowley ISD when it comes around. Got one more for you on here. And I couldn't get out of a list without having one of the – and look, you guys can call me Homer all you want to, but I'm telling you, keep an eye on those cats. These cats, not those Baker cats, these cats, it's Omar Davis. 6'4", 215-pound wide receiver, rising junior. He's a redshirt junior on there. But in an offense, he was second team all-conference last year. But he is a prototypical NFL-type wide receiver. Can go up and get it in high school. He played defensive back when he was a player at Seminole High School in Florida. He returns kicks. He had 6 kickoff returns for touchdowns. He's just a big dude. Had 7 touchdowns. Big red zone threat. The reason he doesn't have a lot of numbers, and I think he'll get close to 1,000 yards this year, is they've got 3 or 4 pretty good wide receivers and a great running game on there. So the sky's the limit for Omar, but at 6'4", 215 and a football IQ to match, you got to have him on your list. Don't sleep on him, guys.
You know, when you get a player like that, Doug, and they going up against some of the, you know, defensive backs that are, I mean, very good, but like 5'10", 5'11".
Yep.
It just makes a difference.
It makes a big difference. They've got to play, and I hate to put this out there, but they do have 2 wide receivers that are 5'10". For one actually was all conference, has the LCU record for receptions, and they'll stand Omar there and put these 2 behind him, and you can't really see them out there. Great move for him. But I asked Omar, and we had him in the dugout the other day, and so I asked him. I said, Omar, I said, is your phone ringing? I mean, surely you're getting calls from these other schools, from these D1 guys. He says, I turned my phone off. I don't want those calls. I was like, that's what I'm talking about. Turn my phone off.
That's cool. You got to dig that. Oh, yep. All right, Doug. That's a segue to promotion for one of our channels here. That if you want a good top 10 list, you need to check out on Midwest Sportsnet top 10 reasons why following NAIA football is more fun than following D1 football. You just need to check that one out. It's one of the YouTube shorts, but I encourage you to give that out there. And by the way, as we're at this point in the show, into the second half hour of the show, Doug, I know we haven't mentioned yet, you have 446 Sports, so if you haven't subscribed to Doug's channel at 446 Sports, please do. If you haven't subscribed to Midwest Sportsnet, please subscribe here as well. We appreciate that. It's free, and we're just trying to build our respective channels. So
absolutely do that. You talk about our highlights, and thank you, Charles. You talk about our highlights that are on here, but there are a lot of media days starting going too. I know the Sooner Athletic Conference has their virtual media days next week, and those will start getting put up. They're doing that out of the home office for that, but you've got some coming up as well.
Yeah, I do, Doug, and I'm glad you mentioned that. We're going to have they're going to be vertical, Doug. I'm kicking and screaming getting into the year 2026, but I'm doing a
Did
few more
did, did
vertical
he
things.
did he said vertical?
I know,
He
I
said
know. I'm not. That's. But we're having some preseason videos that are on here vertical. But you're right. I'm actually going to be now. Both of these are D2. So if
right.
if you follow us exclusively for the NAIA, I'm sorry, but on Midwest Sports Net we cover D2 as well, and I will be in Shawnee on Wednesday covering Great American Conference Media Day there. And I will be in McKinney, Texas on Thursday covering the Lone Star Conference Media Day down there. And those are a lot of fun. First time to do an on-site Media Day for the GAC, which that's going to be kind of neat. But Lone Star Conference, I've been down there in McKinney for a number of years, and it's always a blast to go down there and see the teams and the programs. And a couple of new head coaches that I think some people would recognize. I'll just leave that there. So follow that on Thursday. And also, just in case, if you're not familiar, McKinney ISD is where they have the D2 national championship game. So there are 3 national championship games going on in Texas and for 2026, 2 of them at high school stadiums. Crowley ISD for NAI, fantastic
Right.
facility. McKinney ISD for Division II, fantastic facility. And I have been out to Canyon, Texas before. West Texas A&M is hosting the Junior College National Championship this year too. So that's pretty cool.
There's something about Texas and bringing that football in,
Yeah.
and look, the one around Fort Worth there at Crowley ISD. It's just such a lot going on there. It's getting bigger and
Mm-hmm.
bigger every time that we get that way. But we'll stay the week out in Granbury and just and have a great time. So it's kind of the end of the year. Make a week out of it. Have a good time, and excited to wait for that, but let's get week 0 going
Okay.
first.
Yeah.
Let's get fall camp going tomorrow.
We'll get going. By the way, is that family out there in Granbury?
It is.
That's
It
cool.
is. We've got a lot of family out in Texas that way, and so we'll get over there. And we don't get over there as much for Christmas because we've got a lot going on here, but that kind of gets us over there just prior to Christmas. So what better place to have it?
All right, Doug, you mentioned week 0. So this is just a taste of week 0.
Just a
so
taste.
you know. And in upcoming weeks, we're going to be giving you a little bit more of a taste and a little bit more of a taste. And then when we get to, of course, we'll have our forum in early to mid-August, and we'll have some guys like Corey from NAIA F-Ball is going to come on. James, who has been a part of Champion Sports Network for a number of years, he's going to come on. Vince from the Varsity Sports Show is going to come on out in Phoenix. But then as we get to the week itself, you'll get a lot more preview of the game, and we'll go over it. And I know Doug is going to be, he won't be able to be with us on that Thursday night because he's got, some football stuff that he has a handle on. We're still going to do a Thursday night week 0 show before, fingers crossed, I get on the plane too and hopefully go on out to Sioux City, but we'll see about that. And then we'll definitely
I'll
have a
meet you
Sunday
in
show
Omaha.
to follow. Yeah, absolutely. All right, Doug, here's a taste of week 0. How about this? We'll give a few games to you, and some of these games you may know. This may make a difference for teams you follow. Like, for instance, I know Robert Whalen follows Concordia pretty tightly, so this one's going to be a good third game between these two, and Concordia's just beating the daylights out of Waldorf. But honestly, everyone's beaten the daylights out of Waldorf since they made the move to the GPAC. They're 0 for everything in the last 2 years. And that's hopefully for the Warriors that changes. David Callaway, who was at Missouri Valley, Doug, most recently, but he was the head coach at Central Methodist there in Fayette, Missouri, when they had an 11-win season, and that was only about 5 years ago. So he's the new head coach. It'll be his first game as head coach at Waldorf. And for Concordia, it's the 100th season of football this year. I think that's pretty
amazing.
Cool too.
Yeah. That's really cool to see that. You see two absolutely different ends of the spectrum, Concordia and their longevity and what they're doing, and opportunity with Waldorf there. It's just it's tough, but it's great to see. I mean, and that's what we've seen some NAI stuff that we've done. Teams that have been around a long, long time, and that's great.
Absolutely. Dickinson State was one of those last year too. I think that's a program getting for ready for a better year in 2026.
Shout out to
Doug?
your graphics guy, by the way, too, who's doing a great job
Oh,
on these.
well, thank you very much. I'll give him a pat on the back when I get an
That's right.
opportunity.
That's
See if
right.
maybe Mrs. Midwest Sportsnet can give him a pat on the back because my arms are kind of short.
That's right.
I'm having a lot of fun. I love these graphics. These in particular I've been doing since Oklahoma Sportsnet started way back when. And it's actually, Doug, it was originally oklahomasportsblog.com. But we've all made strides in recent years. So, hey, listen, this is an interesting game, too, because Texas Wesleyan, this is the last year for NAIA for Texas Wesleyan. If all goes well for the Rams, this is year one of the 3-year transition period. They're taking on a Division II school. There'll be a Division II school someday soon. And they're taking on Central Oklahoma. First meeting between these. UCO, who, by the way, I think thinks they're D1 anyway. It is the largest D2 school without question in the state of Oklahoma. Fantastic facilities. And Doug, I'm not kidding. They are absolutely off the charts. Fantastic facilities for a D2 school. They're heading down to Crowley, one of the winningest programs in D2 history. Texas Wesleyan has Fran Johnson coming in, his first career game as a head coach.
Yeah, and we saw that when their coach left last year. It was later in the season when he left too. But that's interesting. It's a new move, and there's so much good going on at Tex West right now. Tremendous facility. I like their move up to D2. It's again another one of those very storied program versus the new kid on the block with Texas Wesleyan. And dogs say the show's been going on too long, so they're getting rowdy. But this is another one of those great ones.
All right, moving along. This is also a week 0 game. It's the Copper game. And that one, first meeting between OUAZ, I almost said Oklahoma, Ottawa and Arizona. And each team had only one loss last year, Doug. And for Ottawa, well, I know that, you saw that. So that cost Ottawa its playoff spot. And the one loss for Montana Tech last year in the quarterfinals of the NAIA Football Championship Series. Riley Murphy in his second season as head coach, he did a great job last year for OUAZ. No question about that. They have a lot of new assistants, Doug, a lot of new assistants. For Montana Tech, Coach Sampson, it was the best season in school history last year.
You go undefeated, you lose just in the playoffs. Your only loss of it, it's tough. And I know they were ready to get back to work right after that. I do find it hard to believe that this is only their first meeting, but I love it when teams like this schedule NAIA opponents, because Ottawa, with their one loss last year, it knocked them out of the playoffs because Sooner didn't send but one team and historically are just going to send one because the resume is not there. Ottawa putting an early big game on their resume.
You're exactly right, Doug. And think about this too. Montana Tech, they were undefeated. They swept through their division, swept through everyone, so they're undefeated in the regular season. One loss would not have kept the Diggers out of the playoffs. I don't think there's any scenario where one loss, and I don't care what team it was, they're not going to keep the Diggers out. One win against a program like Montana Tech for OUAZ, and they might have been in.
That's exactly right. No matter what happened to them in that final week of the season in the rain. Yeah. It's a resume building game, and all you've got to do, you just got to battle them, even if you don't come in. And look, there are no record books that list moral victories as any sort of record, but you go out there and you battle this instead of and that's a great travel game. It's easy, man. This is great.
It's the Copper game, so you need to. I think the Diggers look great in the Copper uniforms too. So that's definitely one. I'll be watching for that one online too. Yep. Not making the trip out there to Butte, but I'll be watching that one online. Mayville State traveling to Briar Cliff. That's the other game going on in Sioux City on August 29th. And
same time, same kickoff time. That stinks, but
yeah, we may try to stop by over there to see it anyway. Mayville State. I said we.
I know you did. I caught that too.
It's a faith statement. I'm a man of faith, Doug.
That's right, 100%.
Let's see. Mayville State last year 5-6, but they're trending upward. I think. Listen, Coach Larson has things going well, and it's just a program that's just trending upward. And so they're doing like what Dort's doing with Coach Penner, and just little bit for the last 4 years. So they're moving upward. Briarcliff coming off second winning season in school history, 6-5 last year. New head coach there at Sioux City for Briarcliff. So that's just something to look at. All right, Doug, you know anything about this game?
It's going to be a little tussle up the road from where we're at here. That's going to be a good one. Of course, it's Division I out of the Southland Conference. McNeese is in that conference with them. Houston Baptist is in that conference with Northwestern State, and LCU, of course, out of the Sooner. Teams used to play a lot. It's been since 1968 since they played. They played a lot when there weren't many schools to play, but it's a lot of kids that grew up playing together. So you take that D1, you take that NAIA away. The schools are separated by 52 minutes. 52 minutes between the two schools will get you up there. And so this is one of those they'll just drive up ahead of time. But the Cats are excited about it. They are ready to go. Northwestern, we had one of their players on. Actually, it'll air Monday. They're not sleeping on LCU by any means. They're going out there because Northwestern, if you'll remember a couple of years ago, their program canceled the end of the season and they stopped the next season because they had a tragedy on campus. The coach ended up going, and they were able to get Coach McCorkle in there, and he's done a lot of things to recruit the boot, to recruit Louisiana. How do you like that?
All right.
So it's a team that's on the up, but this is an opportunity the Cats can strike.
Okay. By the way, Louisiana Christian, 8-3, won their last 4. They come in with a winning streak. You know, not everyone comes into the next season on a winning streak like that. So
another one of those teams that 8-3 is not good enough. They had a share of the Sooner, but because of the point differential, beat Ottawa, knocked them out of the playoffs. But that was the end of their season.
Yeah. The way Texas Wesleyan handled them, they had to beat Ottawa by 60 points. And
we were
it just didn't
counting
happen. We were, man. I was counting. I
counting
was on the road driving back from calling Sooner Athletic Conference volleyball in Fort Worth. I was actually on the road counting it and listening to you talk about that game, Doug. So I'm a fan.
It was a lot of fun.
446 Sports.
It was a lot of fun. That's right. And look, I think that's what started all of this. They got it back going too. That's right. So there you go.
All right. Hey, Doug, we both got to see this team the last time that the Vikings played. They came away with a victory, and here's the deal on this one. I think Peru State, well, and I said it before, they just had too many turnovers last year. They just had too many turnovers, but it's a new year, a new head coach, Sean Wilkerson, first career game as head coach for him. Grandview coming in on a 28-game winning streak overall, a 70-game winning streak in the regular season, and they have won all but one of the matchups with Peru State over the years, and I think that was the first one too. So this one, get to Grandview ready to open its, well, you know, I hate to say defense of a championship because it's a new team.
That's correct, but you're the champs too. You're not, and my question is, does Peru have the magic that Grandview had last year? Grandview wins it with a first-year head coach, and no. I'm not going to stretch that far.
You're not going to make that comparison?
No, I'm not.
Okay. That's all right. We'll see how it goes at Grandview, though, coming back to start the season on a week 0. Graceland, another team that we're going to be following pretty closely this year. C.J. Brooks back from injury. We don't know who he's going to be throwing the ball to. I'm sure that Coach Stayback knows a little bit more about that. William Penn, 11-2, most wins in program history. First playoff appearance for the Statesmen in 13 years last year. I think this is a big matchup, Doug. Early on in the season, these are two teams that are, and they're Heart North teams,
right?
So I mean, this has implications in August.
When did you think that you would see early season games having an impact at the end of an NAIA season? Let me tell you, the way the scheduling is going on, if you don't think that game with Ottawa is one of those, this one's exactly the same.
Yeah, this is big for both these teams, and so and the other thing about it too, Doug, is that it's right here. I think I hesitate to speak. I'm not going to speak for either one of these coaches. I'm not that guy, but I think that you have the opportunity to throw in a couple more wrinkles because the rest of the season you're looking at 5-6 days to game plan, 4 days really. I mean, and probably just 2. When you really get down to it, you can throw some things around and make some adjustments in the other 2 or 3 games. But you have more time to look at the Statesmen. You have more time to look at the Yellow Jackets if you're both these coaches and both these staffs. And Doug, there are going to be new faces on both these teams, so they're not going to get all of it, but at least they know a little bit of the book about them.
They do, but it's college football at its finest. I mean, you reload, you regroup, you get together and get after it. And if you're going to have this type of game, I don't mind having it at the start of the series because you do get that extra time to work on it. But, new programs, new ideas, new identities there, but it's the same proud traditions. And so that's what I think is going to carry this one.
All right. Let's throw this out there really quickly. CJ came into Graceland on August 1st last season with not much experience with the team. Well, you know what? He's got a little more experience now.
That's correct.
He does have a little bit more. I don't know. And Charles, you know what? I'll tell you what. Let me text you. Let me message you a little bit more. I want to learn more about this team too and see how much you know. I'm not going to ask you too much on the air, but I'd love to find out a little bit more about some of these receivers too, because I know that he has a receiving core that it's going to be. It's a quality receiving core coming in. Can we at least verify that, Charles? Quality receiving core coming in. I'll move on to the next slide, Doug, but I wait to see Charles' response on this one. A couple more. I thought this was a good one. I think this is a good matchup. I saw it last year. I was in Olathe for this one last year. Mid-America Nazarene, Coach Cordova. It was his first win as the head coach there. So, yes, Charles is going to confirm that is a good receiving core. I like this word, Doug.
Dynamic. That's right.
So that one, that'll be cool. All right. Yeah, this one, I think this is a good one. Mid-America Nazarene has won 5 straight season openers. Again, I got to see that one last year up there at the District Athletic Center. They're in their new facility, which they got to midway through the season last year. Doug, one of the hopes is that Midwest Sports Saturday is in Olathe this year, midway through the season, wherever. So I think that's gonna be a good matchup. But Nelson,
go see the helmets. Go see the helmets if you're in Olathe.
You know what? That's a good point. I need to get in touch with our buddy up there. Mm-hmm. I think Nelson, Coach Hudgens is rebuilding that program, but he has a 6'6" quarterback. Doug, I was on the sidelines last year watching that. Holtzclaw, it looks video game like.
Right.
When he stands up over that line, because he's standing up over the line. We're talking about big linemen. And, I mean, he has a view of the field that very few quarterbacks get. So I think he's a weapon.
Well, and that was always the knock on Doug Flutie, just too small, and these quarterbacks are too small. He doesn't have that issue.
Yeah, no doubt about that. All right, the dog's hungry. Big dog's hungry there. So that is there. Tool Envy. Confirmation is earned on the field. Okay. Tool Envy's still probably mad at us because we're not to defense yet, so that's okay.
It's coming.
We'll get there eventually. Randy, going to be at Tex West Week 0, but we know Coach Dorrell and Chet Huff. Hey, listen, Coach Dorrell, you want to talk about a fantastic coach. He was on that Northwest Missouri State team, Doug. I don't know if you probably, Doug, do you know much about D2 football?
No.
Okay, then let me drop this one on there. Northwest Missouri State. Powerhouse doesn't begin to describe what they have been in the last 10 to 15 years. And Coach Dorrell was on that staff up there. He is a national championship winning coach. They brought him in to Edmond at UCO, and that's going to be a big game for Central Oklahoma. And Randy, he's quite a guy, very good coach. Yeah, Tool Envy knows. He knows. Randy, going to root both ways. Okay. You should. That's all right. All right, one more, Doug, from this list. I've got another graphic, but here's one more from this list. Does this game look familiar to you?
I think that's a good one, yes.
Think it's going to be a good one?
Did I send you my itinerary that I already have my?
As a matter of fact, yeah, I think you did send that to me. So
All right, yeah, I'm just checking.
gonna be up there.
We
Yeah,
land in
Randy.
Omaha at 10:30. So
Okay, well, that is the plan. It is
yes.
actually the plan. Fifth meeting between these two programs, Doug. Series tied at 2-2 was the national championship game, which Morningside won, by the way, in 2018. I gave you those Benedictine stats. Osborne returns, Dooley, Ugorji, Witherspoon, Zimmerman, they're all gone. Meanwhile, for Morningside, Sellen and Max Huff return. We've talked about both of them. It's going to be a new quarterback. Could be an old quarterback, but we know it's not going to be Chevalier. Excuse me. And for one thing, I was really enjoying just saying Chevalier, Doug. That was a big part of my year last year, getting to say Chevalier.
That's when they usually got to find another name then too. We need to create our all name team is what we need to. It doesn't have to do with whatever they play.
You know, that's true too. That is true too. This one's the one Tool Envy's looking forward to the most on week 0. By the way, like I mentioned, I'm giving you 9 games tonight. We're going to give you a few more next week. Thereof, as of last count, 49 games involving NAIA teams during week 0. That is a crazy number.
Ridiculous.
It's a crazy. And you know what else? I mean, it's not all the teams either.
That's right.
It's not. There are a number of them that are going to be getting set to get going a little bit later on. All right. Okay, Doug, I'm going to put this one out here for you really quickly then. And there's a reason I'm throwing this week out there. Okay. Week 9. Doug, that's October 31st.
Aha.
So we're just saying these are some teams, some places we could be on week 9.
All right.
Now, the record, obviously, at week 9 for all these teams is going to be beyond 0-0. But right now, that's what it is. So just to understand where I'm coming from. Robert, listen, I know that you're late here tonight, but Robert was really early. Robert was going to join the show yesterday. So I'm glad that you're here tonight. That's all right. Okay. Where could we be, Doug? Could we be in Baldwin City, Kansas? 47th meeting between these two. I told you we'd mention Baker a little bit later on tonight. We could be.
I think that's on the list of potentials. That's correct.
Yeah, but
I'm voting for something East Coast, Florida, all of the something. That's
okay.
what I'm voting for.
These are some more potentials, Doug. It's not the entire list.
Yes,
it's not the entire list. All right, another potential. I know Tool Envy would probably like that one. That one would be a good game. Good game.
Yeah.
So that one. And I think it could depend on what William Penn does getting to this point in the season.
That's correct.
So keep that in mind. That first game with Graceland, that's going to be a big one. Could be in Tennessee.
Tennessee's not a far trip. That's easy. As long as we don't have to wear orange and sing Rocky Top, I'm down.
Now.
I'm down.
Listen, if we're in Tennessee, I am wearing Vols gear at some point in time.
On the way back,
throwing
maybe.
that out there.
Not.
We could be in Madison.
That'd be a good one.
That'd be a fun one. 41st meeting between these two. Might get a chance to talk with Matt. We've had some Mayville State folks on that have been in the chat over the years. All right, we could be in Marion. This one, I mean, I think it's like, I could be wrong, Doug, but I think 11 miles separate the two campuses.
That's what makes this one of the more intriguing matchups all season long. You get teams that close, although it's been lopsided, but that doesn't change the showmanship of the game, the city versus city, town versus town. It doesn't change any of that.
By the way, I apparently didn't even read my own graphic that I made. They are separated by 11 miles, so there we go.
Okay.
I was starting to sound like I knew what I was talking about, but then I just blew that one away. All right. Okay. Winfield is not where this game's going to be played, but Doug, work with me on this one. I think this is one of the biggest games in the KCAC all year in Week 9. These are two teams that could both be undefeated coming in. This is a huge game. It's going to be at McPherson. But I think this is a big game. I realize this is not East Coast. Sorry about that. But I do think that, I think this one could be a huge game. And I think this was one that we might want to be at least be thinking about, okay?
I'm 100%. I'm just anywhere that's not Georgia. I see the Bulldog, and we're not going.
No, not a Georgia Bulldog.
That's right.
My grandson.
If it turns out like that game in 2025, the 53-40, that's my type of game. I don't like a 7-6. I don't. That's my game.
Yeah, and by the way, speaking of Jamie Odom, he went off in this game too, just not quite enough. My grandson saw this graphic a little bit earlier today. He wanted to show it to Mrs. Midwest Sportsnet. He said, "Have you shown her the pug?" I don't think that's a pug.
It's not a pug.
That's all right.
It's not a pug.
It's not a pug. No, but that's okay. All right. Okay. This one is in Salina. Doug, I haven't been to a game in Salina, but again, this one could be a very, very, very big game. Just pitching that one out there. Friends was undefeated when they met last year, remained undefeated when it was done. They met at a neutral site last year at a double-A baseball field. I got to watch that one from Wichita. That was fun. So
from shortstop, yeah, that's cool. Now look, so a lot of that has to factor into this too. Is we need atmosphere at this too. Which of these games has the best game day experience with it too? Mm-hmm. What kind of fan base is back there? We know what Grandview brings to it. We saw that when we were in Crowley and what they brought down there. And if it's just a hint of what we saw there, that's going to be a good one. But we've got to have that. I mean, it's got to be that college atmosphere. It's got to have that feel to it.
Absolutely. This is an interesting take, Doug. I'm just throwing this one out there. Evangel could be undefeated at this point too. I think that they run the gamut again in their division. Just throwing that one out there. It's a possibility. This one's not actually in Springfield. They play in Nixa, Missouri. And the last one on the list tonight, Doug, because we didn't want to go too long because we just crossed the hour mark.
Right.
Last one on the list tonight. Hey, I'd love to see Graceland play, but they're going to have to go on the road. We wouldn't go to Lamoni for this one. Go up the road also in Iowa, and it is on the Iowa-Illinois border, part of the Quad Cities, Doug. I have actually gotten to see an NAIA event in Davenport, Iowa before. This one's in Davenport. I think this could be a good game. It depends on what St. Ambrose does coming in. I think that Graceland's still going to be looking good in Week 9.
Okay, there are such a number of those, and we'll look at some more potentials and then kind of pare down the list a little bit on some things that we're thinking about. And I think early as the season gets going on and see how some of these games develop on there too. But that Evangel one, just back one slide, Evangel's got a defensive back that plays for them that is out of Alexandria Senior High, which is what we call him. So very good friends. His mom cut my hair for a long time, as a matter of fact. Still does my Mrs. 446's hair. So
I got personal ties.
That's right. That's right. So
all right.
There's been a lot.
I know. He's throwing this out here. Okay.
Terrible.
Here we go. Let's wrap it up like this, Doug. Let me see. Check my notes. Make sure I've said everything. Okay. All right. Let's wrap it up like this. First, what have you learned on the show tonight? Doug, as I give you a chance to think about that, we'll run through the chat, and we will start with Dave. And Dave, Morningside needs to get the quarterback figured out quickly. Benedictine, Northwestern, and Dordt in the first 4 games. I mean, the schedule maker does not like Morningside. Or just wants, you want to put butts in seats for, your games in August, September, I guess, because that is a brutal opening to the schedule. All right. Thinking about what you learned and chat, this is the question for you too, community. The question is to you too. What you learned on the show tonight at Baker. Yeah. Michael, be another great year for NAIA football. Looking forward to it all. Go Kaiser. Well, the Seahawks, man. Doug, I mean, what can you say about a program that's made it to the national championship game 4 consecutive years? I mean, they're better than the Buffalo Bills in the 90s because at least they won.
Yeah, that's right.
But I think there's a lot to be said for that, man. And Michael had a grandson that was a part of that ride too.
Look, you talk about the Bills, how brutal society is that the acronyms that came out of BILLS, boy, I love losing Super Bowls. Isn't that what they said that it stood?
Yeah.
It's just brutal, this world.
They were fond of winning the Lamar Hunt Award and nothing more. That was
That's
all
right.
it was. Whispers of the players trying to convince the coaches to extend kickoff until evening for the Grandview William Penn game.
That would
Doug,
play into things. That
that
certainly
could play
into
in
things.
too. I mean, if we have a night game to get to go to on 31st.
Early games are tough to get to go to after getting off the air at midnight from our show, our Freddy's Friday night wrap up. But it's tough to get out and get gone from there. But early flights leave at 5:30. We can get to a lot of places.
All right, here's part of the Tool Envy saga. My brother played for Ambrose. Oh, but wait.
They're still
They're
terrible.
still terrible. Okay. No, Doug, we're not. I'll leave that to commentary from Tool Envy.
Right.
I think
I was reading the comment is all I was doing.
Yeah, I'm not dropping on them, but well, we'll see what happens this year. We'll see. We'll save July 19th and all the comments there. Charles, all the change at key positions in the NAIA season, the early games could shape the entire season. You're absolutely right. And
Yeah.
Dave just gave us what Morningside's schedule looks like, which I looked at that too, Dave. I mean, you're absolutely right. That is a challenge of a schedule. I think the early games could make a difference. And the ones we've already talked about there in week 0, we're talking about the OUAZ game and Tech. Man, there's a lot to go
Well,
into
that is such a game to get the season started with. My goodness, that's a big one.
And Robert cheering on the Bulldogs. Robert, we did talk about Concordia tonight. You need to go back and watch the start of the show because we did drop some Concordia on there as well. All right. Leo, I learned you seem to have a good travel budget. Well, Leo, let's talk about that for a little bit. Doug's travel budget, I think, may be better than mine at the moment, but I'm working hard on that, and I am genuinely praying about it. Go ahead, Doug.
Let me just put you guys at ease on the thought of that is that I am the most frugal, thrifty person. I will fly out, won't check a bag, won't do it at 5:30 and come back. If it starts saying plus in there and adding money to the flight to sleep in later, no, sir. So I'll give you a look into 2 games that LCU played on the road last year. I travel and go to the game over there and drive back into Amarillo and Tulsa because you can't get to where we were going from here. Slept in the airport, got up and come on and look, the peanuts from the fly. We're not first class and we're not extravagant on it, but and I hitchhike. I'm gonna hitchhike from Omaha up to so there you go. Hopefully somebody will see me and they'll stop.
Gonna recognize you from college football this week. Hey, it's that
That's
one
right.
guy.
That's right.
That guy from Louisiana.
There's that guy.
Leo, let's go from budget to, I was going back to this, Charles, but I will throw it up there really quickly. Okay. Backdrop should be a Bet the Barn segment. Let's go back to the statement at the beginning. Yes, there's no new backdrop this week, but it's in the works. It is. I actually went and talked to some folks at one of the businesses here just outside of Durant, and we are working on a backdrop. It's probably not going to be for another month. But I'm trying. So, maybe we should have a Bet the Barn segment, Charles. I don't know.
Get one of those murals painted behind you with that brick wall. Just paint a mural on there. That's what you need.
You know what I really need? I need some depth of field. You would be surprised how little space there is in Studio B right now, at least between me and the camera. So we're looking to have a little bit more depth of field, and I may even get one of those backlit lights behind me, and I want to have something where I could put a helmet or something like that. So, all right, Charles, next week on Bet the Barn, here we go. Charles is giving us a Bet the Barn segment, over under 3 weeks. We'll ask this question next week on Bet the Barn at the start of the show, so you get a chance to do that. All right. Hey, Matt learned it's time for ice cream. Looking forward to another great season. Lots of faces in the chat tonight. Great to see. You're exactly right, Matt. I don't know. You'll see, Matt, you're Central time zone too. You got a little time to eat some ice cream. So do I. So I'm going to go back and do that.
I love it.
Saw Doug in person at the championship game. He looks like the Coen brothers character.
Oh, nobody's picking me up. That's right. Wow.
All right.
I love the community. Let me tell you, I love these guys.
Okay. Well, that's, sometimes you just have to show a little ankle, Doug.
That's right. That's all you got to do. That's correct.
Ankle. Okay.
That's correct.
Hello. I'm going to try. Bristina Bragulera. There we go.
There you go.
Hello. I got it right. 2331.
Hello, indeed.
Hello. Thanks for making it in, being part of the show tonight. Doug, what I learned, this was one, and it was later on. I thought this was in my notes though, so I didn't learn it. I learned it getting ready for the show. How about this one?
Okay.
I learned that Aaron Bullock wasn't going to be on the roster. I thought early on he was coming back to Graceland, and it wasn't till studying this week that I saw that he had moved on. So he's going to be playing D1 football there. So that was what I learned on the show tonight. Anything you learned on the show tonight?
Couple of things. Learned something on the show and learned something off the show as well. So it relates. So I've got a couple of points on there. One, if Joey says it's going to be a quick show, it never is. As you see, we're 9:15, and this is probably one of our longest shows. Two was the research that we did. Quickest way to D1, it seems like in NAIA, are these big-bodied, speedy, good hands receivers. They're making their way out. They're getting phones ringing all the time for those guys. And the third thing has nothing to do with this. They flop more in the World Cup than they do in the NBA, as witnessed today in that game.
Absolutely. It took extra time and more. They had added extra time to the extra time.
Yeah, right.
They finally got it. And then there were goals that weren't goals, Doug. You know, you think you scored and then you haven't. So, yeah.
The beauty of it is it's over and it's real football season.
That's right. July 19th, preseason here. Michael, thank you. Man, I appreciate you being on the show tonight, Michael. Good to see your name come up there in the chat again, the community. Too late for ice cream on the East Coast, but he enjoyed the broadcast tonight. God bless you all. God bless you, Michael. Appreciate you, man. And let's go back through. Tool Envy in the chat tonight. Bristina Bragulera in the chat tonight. Charles in the chat tonight as well. Charles is in charge of at least one Bet the Barn segment next week. So we'll have to get that up there. Robert, better late than never, no doubt about that. Dave in the community tonight. Randy in the community tonight as well. Matt was here watching tonight. And Doug, you had a number of folks who, Enoch, by the way. Yeah, Enoch 3700 in the show tonight. You had some folks that, members of your channel.
We did. We picked up.
Listed early on. So.
Yep, we picked up some new members, and so big shout out to those guys. And God's continuing to bless what we do. Pastor talked about, he said, obedience, and that's the key to getting there, and that's what we just try to do. And God is absolutely shining on what we do.
Absolutely, and I agree with Leo. Fun conversation tonight.
Yes.
Tool Envy, man. I hope he didn't take you all the way to July 19th to learn that, because
right, we've been doing this since January.
We've been doing this for a while now, but anyway, all right. Doug, last thing. I know it's past 9:14 in Central Time Zone, and I think Charles and Robert or Michael may just absolutely have to go to sleep already. Get ready for a Monday morning. What is happening this week on 446 Sports?
Fall camp starts in the morning. They'll start checking in. We'll start getting to meet those guys that are there. It's back. It's here. It's up and it's going. And we'll start our Sooner Athletic Conference previews. We'll let them get through their media days. We don't want to usurp what they're doing, and we'll start putting things out after that. So you'll start seeing an in-depth dive into teams like LCU, of course, Texas Wesleyan, Nelson for you. Ottawa is going to be there, and I know a team that you really like a lot, Wayland Baptist. We'll talk about them as well as the others. And so look forward to that as we dive deep into the Sooner Athletic Conference next week.
Hey, listen, you're right. And by the way, guys, those still in the community, I am high on Wayland Baptist this year. I am up. Coach Hinojos and the Pioneers, I am all about Wayland Baptist. And I'll agree with Matt before I give you Midwest Sportsnet's agenda. It is never too late or too early for ice cream. And Matt, I will be having some as soon as the show's is over, because we've talked about it way too much. I've already had some today with the grandkids. We're going in for round number 2. Midwest Sportsnet this week, Doug. Man, I'm working with KCAC, still working on their men's soccer media days. That's going to air on the KCAC channel, so it won't be here on Midwest Sportsnet. Having a really good time visiting with some coaches, talking about football still, soccer, but it's been a blast getting to work with them. We have both volleyball and football previews coming up. If you haven't seen some of the previews, you need to check out Midwest Sportsnet. Had a great visit with Coach Norse last week, as well as some other coaches. So you check it out on Midwest Sportsnet. There's a couple of nice top 10 lists in the shorts, that you definitely want to check out too. And then don't forget, Wednesday, lots of content. If you like football, Doug, it's D2 football, but I'll be talking with the Great American Conference on Wednesday and the Lone Star Conference on Thursday. And we just have a lot coming up. And guess what, Doug? We blink and it'll be Sunday night again.
Just like that. Now, so what position group do the fans get to see next week?
That is a surprise. I will just say it's defense. I'm not giving anything away to Tool
There you
Envy.
Tool Envy's going to be happy.
He's going to be happy. We're just going to go. We're going to say defense, and
see,
say it like that.
This is the knock, Joey, is that you talk quarterbacks and running backs and wide receivers and the O line, nothing, gone. The Hogs.
I know. And okay, hey, hang on. Here's the deal. I promise you, if you watch the coaches' previews that we do on Midwest Sportsnet, and I can't speak for yours, Doug, but on mine, it is a key. I ask the coaches, please talk about your offensive linemen. Yep. And we definitely give them lots of prep, lots of props during our previews, because I know I cannot do them justice.
Our most enjoyed segment during our high school and our coverage of LCU is when we award our lineman of the week. We'll give an offensive and defensive lineman of the week because they're just not getting the love, and man, they eat it up.
Doug,
just like ice cream, they eat it up.
The dog wants ice cream. Leo thinks the dog wants ice cream, man.
The dog.
Charles is right. We should throw a Tool Envy, just throw a wrench out there. Go punters and kickers next week.
He might not invite us. We might get uninvited to Grandview.
They'll have kickoff at 11 a.m.
It's 11 a.m. game. That's right.
We'll go with that one. All right. Doug, it's been a privilege, community, and it's always a privilege. Without doubt, we don't get to have as much fun on here without you all, and you guys are a blast. And so I look forward to getting to visit with you all next Sunday night. Doug, man, thank you very much for being a part of the show. We enjoy getting to do this together.
Yep, it's going to be a lot of fun as we get into the season a little bit further. And Joey and I talked about it off the air. We might have something in the mix that we'll talk to you about in a couple of weeks. So you'll want to stay tuned for that also.
Absolutely. We'll do it. For Doug Gann, I'm Joey McWilliams. Thanks so much for watching tonight. Have some ice cream. Have a great night. God bless you all. And we will see you all at the very least next Sunday night.